Why are emergency sirens a rising and falling wail instead of a steady tone? Let's start with something we're all familiar with, that unmistakable wail of an emergency siren splitting the air. Whether it's a fire truck, ambulance, or police car, we all recognize that sound. But how often have we stopped to wonder why it sounds the way it does? We just accept it as another part of the urban soundscape, right? But here's a question. Why doesn't it just blare out a steady note like a foghorn? Wouldn't that be just as effective? Maybe even less grating on the ears? It turns out there's a fascinating story behind that unsettling rise and fall pattern, and it's all about attention. Our day-to-day lives bombard us with sounds, honking cars, buzzing phones, the distant hum of traffic, leading us to tune them out as background noise. However, emergent sirens pierce through this auditory fog, demanding our attention. Is there a scientific method to their madness? You bet. And it's rooted in psychology and physics. Join me as we unravel this ear-catching mystery. The assumed logic behind an emergency siren, a necessary evil. If pressed, some of us might say the sound is annoying on purpose so people pay attention. That guess isn't far from the truth, but there's more to it. Now, picture alarms we know from everyday life, perhaps a bedside clock or a smoke detector. What do they have in common? A harsh, repetitive beep meant to jolt us into action. Yet, curiously, sirens don't just beep, they wail. Most of us assume it's simply because a wail is more jarring, and perhaps that's partially true. But what if I told you that precise rising and falling wail was chosen not simply for its piercing quality, but for how well it exploits one of our brain's quirkiest tendencies? Hold on to your hats, because we're about to dive into how our ears and minds were tricked by design. Let's step back in time to the early 20th century, a period bustling with innovation and, indeed, noise. Sirens needed to cut through not only the physical noise of developing cities, but the psychological noise of distracted human minds. Researchers realized that certain sound patterns could tease out the location of a sound much more effectively than others. Cue the wail of a siren. The secret weapon of the wail is its dynamic pitch, rising and falling in a way that forces the human ear to consider, where is that coming from? It's a process known as auditory localization. In a cityscape teeming with sounds reflecting off surfaces, a wailing siren became a guiding lighthouse for our ears. So, while you might find it annoying, that's precisely its triumph. Its unavoidable, inescapable demand for attention, which breaks through not any wall, but the walls of habitual neglect. In the age of industrial expansion, cities were sonic jungles. The urgent problem: how does one sound reach the ears meant to hear it amidst the cacophony? Inventors observed that a persistent monotone got lost amid reverberating factory hammers and coughing engines. The practical challenge was profound. People needed immediate alerts to emergencies, regardless of where they were or what they were doing. Cue the perfect sound. A simple, steady note was not going to cut it. Something more sophisticated was required to break through the constant din. A team of sound engineers, acousticians, and psychologists hunkered down, racking their brains over sound waves, frequencies, and the elusive goal of auditory salience. And here's where things get interesting. They didn't settle on the solution overnight. Instead, they experimented, making a few cacophonous blunders along the way. World War II served as a proving ground for many technologies, including adaptive sound signaling. Sirens were tested extensively, and scientists refined auditory detection theories. The breakthrough came when they designed a siren whose rising and falling pitch forced the brain to engage continuously, resisting the dulling effect of constant sound, the tendency to fade into the auditory background. This was no accident. It was a calculated break from tradition. An annoying sound, you see, is sometimes precisely what's needed to maintain focus. After the war, this efficient design made its way back into civilian life, immediately adopted by fire departments, ambulatories, and police alike. Finally, they struck upon a sequence so distinctively disruptive that it muted all other turbulence, ensuring immediate human reaction. In fact, emergency sirens have since become a case study in sound design. The masterstroke of siren design lies in its counterintuitive embrace of irritation. In a world striving for pleasant and calming environments, the wail thrives on discomfort. Engineers borrowed insights from the field of psychoacoustics, where even silence can be deafened by specific frequencies. By crafting chaos into a wave that dynamically shifts, sirens leverage our highly evolved sense of threat awareness. Our brains are exquisitely tuned to anything that signifies attention needed. It's the sonic equivalent of a red flag, an auditory poking that defeats our natural tendency to ignore consistency. Ironically, it's this very design that ignites complaints, even as it saves lives. The next time you cover your ears in annoyance, remember, a siren's jarring cry is a masterpiece of psychological warfare against complacency. Sitting amidst the symphony of city life, emergency sirens stand as a clever reminder of human ingenuity. Taking a moment to appreciate their design teaches us about more than immediate audibility. It's about a legacy of listening. Against the backdrop of progress, the disciplined chaos of a siren reminds us of what's possible when we challenge common perceptions. This peculiar sound tricks our instincts into action, demonstrating the journey from cacophony to clarity, evolving alongside our urban environments. The next time a siren cries out, don't just hear it, understand it. Recognize its intelligent design, born of a mixture of necessity, science, and yes, a little aggravation. Reframing it as a marvel of human capability may not make it less irritating, but it will allow you to smile knowingly at the brilliant simplicity behind the noise. Now, isn't that sound logic?